Hey everybody, welcome to Geek Addicts.
Hello and welcome to Geek Addicts, pop culture podcast, where we revisit the sites of our childhood trauma. My name is Matt. With me, Steamhead Bill. How's it going, Bill?
Steamhead, that's an interesting that's a new one. It's great. It's October, it's almost November. Well, by the time you're watching this, it's probably already November. What the fuck is the year gone?
Yeah, right? This one flew by. I don't know what happened.
Well, he had a weird summer where we didn't have any of those aggressively hot summer days this year. I never once
Not
was
like not like the past couple of years, at least. We did have a couple of good heat waves, but it was usually bearable. Usually.
So I never had a day where I was like stuck inside and just like miserable because it was so hot. Um, but yeah, it's weird. The summer kind of flew by because it like rained every weekend again, which sucks. But
Yeah.
and not much has really happened other than I mean, not talking about the world. I ain't getting into that, but
No.
yeah,
Not touching that with a temple pole.
no, I'm not going to touch any of that. We live in our own little podcasting world over here.
Yeah.
But aside from like life stuff, it's been mostly a pretty standard year, all things considered.
Yeah. It's been a bit of a rougher year than past years, but all told, it could have been worse.
Yeah. And we're in the fall season now, though. I'm like, actually, finally, the leaves are changing. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
We're in that nice
Cindy's
period.
Cindy's in Maine right now, so she's getting
That's
like
fun.
the full fall experience at the moment.
Oh, she might have passed Will from the network at one point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's on his honeymoon right now, and he's like going across New England. So,
oh, everybody's getting married right now.
is the season, I guess.
Not for me. I got married at the end of July, and it was hot as balls. And we had an outdoor wedding.
Yeah. I work, so I don't have time to go out. Yeah. Other than that, though, nothing too crazy. I actually watched a series.
Oh, there you go. What'd you watch?
I binged it last night. I watched The Secrets of the Silent Witch on Crunchyroll. It was a 13 episoder. It may or may not be for a GNC episode in the future. But
Nice.
I watched through that. I saw the most recent episode of The Fragrant Flower, Blooms with Dignity. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, I like how they're keeping it moving along. Like we're not dwelling too much on any one thing. It's just like yeah, okay, like he is having issues with his friends, but now we're gonna resolve that. We're gonna try and get these people together, and everything's gonna work out. So hopefully, we'll see. But it seems like it's going in a direction that it's going in a very positive direction. I don't know, based on like how smoothly this show has been going on, I wonder how long it's actually going to end up being.
I mean, the manga's up to we only have 9 over here currently, but there's I guess 14 volumes already written in Japan.
Interesting.
So I don't know where the anime is going to leave off. I know it's definitely not volume 9 because the cover of volume 9 kind of is a pretty big spoiler, which I was like, oh, well, that's something.
Yeah.
Um,
That's going good though. Today we're getting the first jump of our fall anime run.
Yeah. The dubs for My Hero Academia just came out. I noticed on my phone. I got the ping, and Spy Family is going to be later today, I guess. So we got those two going.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Spy Family.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot it's been a bit. Like the last Spy Family thing we saw was 2022 with the movie, I think.
No, I thought the movie came out in. No, the movie came out more recently than that.
Or 23 maybe. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Um,
Um
and I think the season 2 was the year before the movie. It was like early that year.
yeah, it was definitely post me buying my house. I know that's for sure
Mm-hmm.
because I watched it in my house. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a bit. So I'm curious to I mean, I already know what's going to happen this season because I've read enough of the manga, but
I was really curious though because after I've read the manga, like after watching the first couple of seasons, uh, the order that they do things is different in the anime than in the manga.
mm,
Like the whole "you're getting shot in the butt" thing happens way earlier in the manga than it does in the anime.
yeah, because that was like a filler chapter.
So
I know.
I was really curious what order they were going to put things in for this season, and I noticed that the big Lloyd backstory section from the episodes that are already out already started, which I thought it
Yeah,
happened like after the whole bus thing.
it does. Maybe they're saving that for later because it'll be more climactic. I know the shot in the butt was a gag chapter
Mhm.
that nobody thought they were actually going to adapt, and then when they adapted it as the opening to season two, everyone was like, "Oh, cool." Um,
Yeah, I liked it though; it was good.
oh, it's one of the best episodes in the series because it's just like it perfectly encapsulates everything about this show and why we like it.
For sure. We did also, unfortunately, get the news that the free run manga is going on hiatus for a while.
Yeah, because both the author and the artist are sick.
Go figure.
That's happening a lot lately. I've noticed a lot of these mangakas are taking hiatuses for health reasons because I
Well,
know the
good,
black.
because so many mangakas have worked themselves to death.
I
We don't
know
want that to continue.
because I know the mangaka for Black Clover. He had to take a break for a bit. That's why that show's that movie that manga is taking forever to come out. I mean, we know Hunter x Hunter. Did you see the thing with Hunter x Hunter?
No.
Apparently, like he had like a whole bunch of like of the next few like manuscripts for the next few chapters written, and he lost them. And now he
No
just
kidding.
yeah, I guess that happened. I'm just like, oh,
Oh, jeez.
alrighty. Well, so at least he seems to be in good spirit.
Yeah, right. No shit.
That's why, like, and also like that's why Oda's like takes these like enforced breaks all the time with One Piece.
Yeah, no kidding. I can't. I mean, I get what he's doing, but I can't believe he hasn't gotten sick of writing the same story for 30 years.
Yeah, some people that's their thing. I mean, what's crazy to me is though, like then you look at like some of like the machines of the manga world. Like you look at Rumiko Takahashi, she just keeps on pumping them out.
And she's like the Stephen King of manga.
Oh yeah, she's just like constant like writing. It's like amazing, and her consistency is still there. Like I'm reading some of Mao every now and then. I'm like, wow, she's still
Hmm.
got it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
uh as I mentioned in previous episodes, my anime watching has slowed significantly. But I did I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, but I did finish watching Soul Eater, and I've been rewatching Dead Man Wonderland because I haven't watched that in a long time. Um, and honestly, like I only have like a couple episodes left of it, but now I'm just kind of at a point where I just want to reread the manga because
That happens sometimes.
the anime doesn't cover nearly as much as I'd like.
That's
Um,
that's like a thing recently I've noticed. Like Alex had brought I was talking to Alex yesterday about this. And she had mentioned how like because we were talking about how like because with My Dress Up Darling finishing up, we were mentioning how like it's crazy how many like series are just they're getting like a couple seasons and then not getting finished.
hmm.
Um and she had pointed out she's like, yeah, but they're like adapting fucking everything now.
Yeah, the fact that fucking Vending Machine is getting a season 3, but
The
fucking
the
Coney
manga,
can't get a
yeah.
season 2.
And
It's kind of ridiculous.
apparently the vending machine manga was already canceled because it fell off hard. So they're just I think they're going into making shit up territory now for that one. So
I don't remember who it was, but I know somebody, was it Miyazaki? Somebody over in Japan was talking about how like annoyed they're getting with Western anime fans because apparently we're the reason that these garbage isekais keep getting made because we eat it up.
God forbid we give them work. God
Yeah, right.
forbid.
Well,
Um,
the argument is that like actual art isn't being made and just this garbage brain rot is being made instead because it makes them money. Which fair. But I mean we're still getting good shit. Like I mean we still get things like Free Rent and Apothecary Diaries and
yeah.
fucking
And I
you
mean,
know.
there's so many anime studios now. Like a lot of the ones that do these isekais aren't even like the main ones. Like because the main studios are all trying to get other shit done. I mean, you still look at Mappa and it's like, holy shit, those
Yeah,
guys are on the struggle bus like
no
24/7.
shit.
I have
Yeah,
I have noticed though the isekais, it's getting a little ridiculous.
for sure. Yeah. And, like it sucks because there are a couple that I do like, but like I would much rather have more, free runs, Attack on Titans, Apothecary Diaries, like
Well, what's crazy is the one isekai. Well, there's two isekais I really enjoy. I like Slime because Slime kind of takes the piss out of it, and actually has a compelling narrative. But then there's also Konosuba, and Konosuba is amazing just because that show is fully aware isekais are stupid and just plays into it.
yeah. Which was, the reason why we liked Vending Machine at first. And then they were like, no, but we're
Yeah,
gonna actually try now.
yeah,
Like, no.
that was funny for like honestly, now that I look back at it, like Vending Machine just starts to drop off towards the end of season one.
You know
Like when
what's
they
what's really funny too is the guy I was talking about who was talking about how isekais are ruining the art of anime and shit. He specifically mentioned the Vending Machine show when he was going off about it.
well, because they started it so well and then they gave up. Like the joke ran its course. It was like,
Yeah.
but even
But
like
it would have
this,
been funny as like a movie and then just leave it at that.
or like a one season like OVA or something, like a short couple episode thing.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be a full series.
No
Um,
shit.
yeah, it's funny how hard that one fell off, but yeah, it is what it is. I kind
Yeah.
of I kind of envision this might piss some people off, but the way I think of Vending Machine is I think of it the same way I think of One Punch Man, where the second it kind of got serious is where I kind of lost interest in it.
That's fair. I mean I still like One Punch Man. Like I still think that like I still think that that's gonna cycle back around to just being silly. Because at the same time, like yeah, like the whole thing is like yeah, he's One Punch Man. He can never lose. He just beats everybody with no problem, whatever. But he's just kind of doing it as a hobby. Like things are still a threat for everybody else. It's just him that's invulnerable.
Yeah, it was just kind of a case where like once the actual like plot kicked in One Punch Man and like they had all this stuff going on, it kind of made me realize I was like, I don't think I actually like this show that much. I was like, I just don't care about any of this.
I mean, I've definitely seen funnier shows.
Well, because when I realized that, I was like, I'd just rather watch Mob Psycho at this point.
Fair. I haven't watched that one yet. That's on my list. I'll get to it eventually. Um, but I have on the subject of shows that don't finish the manga material. I have been reading more Soul Eater. I'm up
Hmm.
to volume 8, I believe, the perfect editions out of 17 total. And I finally hit the part where it like really starts to deviate heavily.
Ah,
And boy, it fucking came in hot when it fucking started to deviate. I was like, holy shit. Like I'm kind of like I've only maybe like a little over a volume past the point where it really starts to deviate. And a lot is already very different from how the series ends. And
yeah.
like we're already like about to start like the big like raid on Baba Yaga Castle, which is what they ended the series on.
Hmm.
And like the circumstances are already way different. and we still have, or I still have like almost 10 volumes to go before the manga is done. So I'm interested to see where it goes for sure. It's been
Speaking
very
of,
interesting.
we mentioned Komi earlier. I've been reading the Komi manga. Pretty
How's that
much
going?
good. It's so the series itself ends right around volume like 9, I want to say. Like that's around
And
where the anime ends off.
there's like
Um,
almost 30 volumes, isn't there?
there's 37 total.
Oh shit.
Yeah. We currently have up to 35 here. There's only 2 more, and then it's fully localized. But
Mhm.
if you want to talk about a slow burn, they don't get together until volume like 23, I want to say, or 20
Jesus.
22. So like there's a lot of shit. Like I've gotten there now. I'm currently in a so it's kind of interesting. The anime covers all of year 1 of their high school experience,
Mhm.
because in Japan they do 3 years rather than 4.
Yeah.
Um, and then it ends off right when they're starting year 2, and then year 2 is like the entire like love triangle arc, because that happens.
Oh
Um,
yay.
it's actually more interesting. It's actually more compelling than you'd think.
Okay.
Especially because the third character is very interesting. Um, and then the once that wraps up, I'm currently in the third year chapter, which is around I think it was like around volume 30, no, not 30, volume 25 ish. And it's really funny because you know how the whole gimmick with that manga, that show was like the school is just like a school of eccentrics, basically,
Yeah.
where
The school of windows.
everybody's got a gimmick for some reason. And then there's Tadno, who's just a normal dude,
Like Ninja
chilling
Kid.
there. Yeah, the random Naruto kid, the random girl who just wears knight armor for no reason.
Yeah.
Um, she's a background character up until around like volume like 26, where she just suddenly has like a purpose. Um,
Jesus.
but yeah,
That's
it's
kind
like,
of happening in Soul Eater right now too, where I'm at.
mm. But then volume the current third year arc is fun because in the first season's all about her making friends with all these people, and they're all obsessed with her. Then the second year is all about the love triangle. Now third year they're together, and they're in a classroom complete that's completely all new kids. Like they didn't stay with any of their previous classmates except for Najima, but Najima is Najima, so they just exist in their own little space.
Mhm.
Um, but the joke is this class is extremely eccentric, but they're not swayed by the whole Comey thing, so they're kind of just like, oh, it's her, cool,
Hmm.
and then they just don't care. So now it's like, oh, she's actually got to try to make friends this year.
Hmm.
It's very interesting. Like there's a whole chapter where like Tadno's gonna go on a date with Comey, but then he gets intercepted by Comey's dad, who then goes on a date with Tadno instead to interrogate him. And then
I
by the
like
time
Comey's dad. I like Comey's dad.
Comey's dad is really funny, but like the whole time, like he ends up like just being trying to be like the intimidating dad figure. But Tadno's such a nice guy that he ends up falling for Tadno, and he's like, I like this boy. Um, and then they go home and like with all their shit from the aquarium, and then Comey's still standing there, and like they're like, "We're so sorry, I stole your date." Yeah,
He's
it's
gonna
very funny.
getting in good with the dad. That's what you got to do, man. That's what you
He's
got to do.
he's getting on good terms with the whole Comey family, except for the brother. He's still lives. There's a whole great thing where like the whole story kind of splits between like two things after a while, and like you follow the adult characters, and then you follow like the younger siblings, and the younger siblings are their own crazy story.
Did the anime mention that she had siblings?
Yeah, Comey's brother appears.
I did not remember she had a brother.
He doesn't do much early on. The whole joke with him is that he can talk, he just doesn't want to.
Oh, fair enough.
It's a whole thing, and then yeah. But yeah, I've been reading that, and it's been a trip. There's an entire arc coming up where they literally play Among Us for an entire arc. So
Nice.
yeah, that's coming up soon.
Oh, I did. I got Cindy to start watching Freerun finally.
Nice, nice.
We're
Does
only
she?
like 5 or 6 episodes in right now. They just introduced what's his name? The kid with the axe. Forget
Oh,
his name.
Stark.
Stark. Yeah.
Oh, so she's already seen the feels, and now it's like, oh, it's one of these shows.
Yep. Yep. And like, so I binged the first season in like a couple days
Mm.
when I first watched it, and watching it through with her, just like an episode or two at a time, it like I feel like I lost something in translation by binging it. Because there are some shows where it's better to binge, like say Solo Leveling, and then there's some shows where it's better to watch it in little bite-sized pieces over a period of time because it lets you really sit with it. And a show like Freerun, I didn't realize just how fucking much was stuffed into each episode.
Oh yeah. There's like little background things that you'll notice. Like I took when I watched it the second time around, I noticed a lot of the times, like anytime like the group is doing something and like something chaotic happens, like you'll have like there's a great scene in the middle of the series where like they're in that cart and it gets like launched in the air. Um Crashing down and they're like all you see like the POV of them all in the cart while it's falling and like Freerun's kind of like, oh well, this happened, and Stark's like screaming like a little bitch. But then you see Fern in the background, and she gives no fucks the entire time, which is great. That's why we love Fern because she literally does not give a shit the entire show, and it's great.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, but watching my ongoings, I did beat another game this week.
Nice.
I played another arcade game. I went through the X-Men arcade game, and this is a long time coming because this is one of the few like classic arcade games that I like really played a lot when I was a kid because they had a cabinet of it set up in the local Papagino's up the street from me. And I know you lived a town or two over, so I think you had a different Papagino's. I don't know if you
Oh yeah,
or
for
was that one
people
even there?
for people who don't know, Papagino's is a New England based I don't even think it's New England. I think it's just a Massachusetts based pizza chain.
Yeah, it's a
Um
pizza chain, kind of like a Pizza Hut.
yeah, it's better than pizza, but that's not hard. Um
Yeah, I haven't had Pizza Hut since there was that one next to the KFC. That was the last
I
time I
don't
had Pizza Hut pizza.
there wasn't one near me back in the day, so we never went.
Yeah.
Yeah, the so I think I do know the Papagenos you're talking about, but I rarely went to that one because I do remember that X-Men arcade machines.
Yeah,
I was
that's
about
the
to
one
say
up
I
at my
remember that,
house. Yeah.
but
Um,
because I went to the one that was more near where it was up the street from where we worked in Plymouth area.
the one by Market Basket, right?
Around there, yes.
Yeah.
Because there used to be a job lot up there. Now it's a I don't even know what it is now. Actually, no, it might still be a job lot.
Oh yeah, yeah, because yeah, I think it is a job lot. There's a liquor store connected to it.
There was a liquor
Yes,
store, and then there was like a weird. There was a Planet Fitness in there, and now it's like a bar thing. Or last I checked, it was that was around COVID, so who knows? But
Yeah, a lot of COVID ruined a lot of businesses.
I'm surprised that Papagenos is still there, to be honest.
I'm surprised the one down here is still there. But
Yeah, that was a chain that like I think was popular at one point. Like I remember this takes me back. I remember we had a birthday party, and a birthday party at a pizza place is always such a weird choice to me. But I went to a birthday party at a Papagenos, and my God, that staff was not ready.
it's funny too because when you mentioned like Papagino's being like such a like local player, I'm pretty sure every kid's birthday party I went to when I was a kid that had pizza, it was always Papagino's pizza.
Oh
Time.
yeah. See, I always remember that because I went to the last time I went to a Papagenos, I always remember this because it was with a couple friends, and one of us was very drunk, and he went to the jukebox and he set it to play um, the Tom Jones song, "What's New Pussycat," that one on repeat. He paid it for it on repeat for 3 hours straight, and then we left. And then we left.
That's classic. I love it.
I
I
was
love
like, that is the most evil thing I think I've ever seen somebody do. Because it like literally like after 2 plays, I'm like, are we good? I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here, please.
it.
Uh,
Classic. I love it. That's amazing.
but going back to the X-Men arcade machine before we derailed.
Yeah. No, it was a really cool kind of blast from the past. I was really happy that it was finally able because it was technically built into my little Amberneck device when I first got it. It was a stock game, but arcade games are weird. It did not want to play. I've kind of encountered that with a lot of the arcade games that were built into it. So I ended up downloading my own separate ROM for it. That one worked fine. But yeah, it only took me like an hour or two to run through all the way.
Yeah, those
Um,
old arcade machines weren't super long. They were just difficult, so you'd have to keep putting quarters in. But when you play it on a thing, you don't have to worry about that.
yeah, when you're playing on an emulator, you just press select like 20 times and you have all the lives you need. um,
See,
but no, it's been cool. Like I'm kind of like digging going back to these old arcade games.
have you done a
It's,
Simpsons arcade yet?
no, that's next one. That's another one that was built in. That's one of the ones that's on my list. That I want to play Alien versus Predator as well.
Hmm.
Which predates the movie by quite a wide margin. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, the for me, my classic childhood arcade cabinet. It was between Simpsons arcade and then there was a bowling alley that also had arcade machines nearby. I don't know if it's still there. Probably isn't. It was
Is
so
it,
this is a
hold on, was it Alley Cat?
yes, that's the one.
It's still there.
Is it still there?
It's
So
right next
fun.
to my house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. It is. Um,
Still right behind a doctor's office.
yep. Does it have an actual? Does it still have the actual bowling alley next to it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
there's like the kid side and the grown up side, the bar
Yep.
and everything. That was
Because
I went to many children's birthday parties there with Papa Gino's.
yeah, same. I had a birthday party at the adult half, and I still have a bowling pin from it somewhere because they gave me a bowling pin for some reason. But the reason I bring up Alley Cat was this is a New England thing, I'm pretty sure still, but we had bumper bowling, which is
Oh
basically
yeah.
you can't lose bowling, and
Mhm.
candle pins, which I still think is the weirdest fucking thing ever.
Yeah. It still has the same little animations too.
Oh yeah,
Like on
those
the
old
yeah,
Windows DOS fucking things that are like hilarious.
the weird little cartoon bowling animals and shit. Yeah, yeah, it's still that's all still the same. The arcade section is complete. It's like an actual like arcade, but it's like new arcade, not like old arcade. So
See, I remember there because they had Simpsons Arcade, which I played, and then they also had Rampage World Tour, which I played the hell out of.
yep,
God, what a
classic,
time. What a
classic
time.
arcade
But
game.
yeah, going back to Simpsons Arcade, that one is hilarious to play because you can tell that was made very early on and there's so much shit that they just kind of guessed on that's like very season 1 Simpsons. I'm like, Jesus, this is all so
Yeah,
bizarre to look at.
so I've been trying to find more arcade games that are similar to like X-Men and Turtles in Time, and so like something that is like that kind of level where it's smooth, smoothish kind of gameplay, that kind of like side-scrolling beat 'em up style.
Hmm.
Um, and I've tried a few different ones that were like I've Googled it and been like, oh, like similar ones to this and that. And I've tried a few, and I'm like, this is not. This is way jankier than fucking Turtles in Time. Like this is not the same.
I believe Simpsons runs off the same engine as Turtles in Time.
I was gonna say
Uh,
it looks very similar, like the animations of it and such.
they were both made by Konami, I want to say, so it would make sense.
Oh, Konami. Um, but yeah, I've been messing around with stuff like that, and I also decided to finally pick up Sayuki again and actually finish it because I made it like halfway through last year and just kind of
Hmm.
stopped after a while. But I'm approaching the end. I just got to I think either the last or the second to last stop where I can get upgraded equipment, and I just finished getting all the upgraded equipment, so now I can move
Nice.
along and finish the last couple missions on that. Finally, finish out another RPG that I started and did not finish.
Yep.
After that, I'll only have one more, I think, not counting Persona 4 because I do have a new Game Plus file going, but that's a casual thing. That's just if I'm
Yeah.
bored, I just don't know what to play. I'm just gonna play that.
Yes. Oh, that's good. I have Sonic Crossroads coming in the mail today, so I'm looking forward to playing that finally. Well, I played the open beta, which I really liked, but I want to actually sit down and do some kart racing.
There you go. Hell yeah.
And it's crossplay, which is going to be super fun.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Um,
So I don't know if you realize this, Bill. This is episode 104.
it is.
So
Yes, it
this
is.
is at least at the time of release. And assuming you didn't break up our Halloween month with the supercut of Darker Than Black,
No,
this is our 2-year anniversary.
damn. That's wow.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Pretty
3
wild.
podcasts all over 100 episodes. That's insane to me.
Weekly, continuously.
Yeah, God help me.
Right.
Um, wow, that is insane. We've
It's,
been doing this every week for 2 years.
I know it's wild. It doesn't feel like it at all.
Damn.
It doesn't even feel like you moved out of state for that long, but it's been a
No,
while.
I've been in
You moved
my
out of state like right after Frankie was born.
yeah, like a little after that. Yeah,
Yeah, she was like maybe 6 months old or so.
yeah, because you guys were still in the trailer at that point.
Yep.
Wow,
It's crazy.
I didn't even realize I've been in my house. I've owned my house for over 2 years.
I know. It's wild.
Shit.
Wild. So it happens though, you hit a certain age and all of a sudden life just starts flying by.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. Why the hell when we were like kids and we had all the time in the world, it felt like it took eternity, but now that we're adults and we actually like want to enjoy things, it goes by in like a blink.
That's just how life goes, man. It's just how it goes.
No. It's so crazy to me. I was thinking about that. Like going to school for 6 hours felt like an eternity, but yet like somehow it feels quicker than an 8 hour work shift. No, it felt longer than an 8 hour work shift somehow.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Well, it's because you got. I mean, it didn't feel like it at the time, but you got little breaks. You got like a little 10-minute, in between class. You could shoot the shit in the hallway for a minute, or fuck off, or hide in the bathroom, whatever. Like, and the most you'd get is a scolding.
See, at my school, because of how it was laid out, like you didn't have time for that because you sometimes you'd have a class on one end of the school, and then the next thing would be on the complete other end of the school. You'd be like, "Fuck!" You'd be like running down. Oh, good times.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
never forget when we were in school one time. We were watching a movie, and in the movie it took place in a school, and they had a bell in the movie that was identical to the bell at our school. And when it went
Everyone
off,
get up.
no, the teacher turned the movie. I was like, "All right, end of class." And we all kind of just looked at each other and just went, "Okay," and just all left. And then, but
That's
the
great.
problem is, we realized really fast, "Fuck, do we do now? We can't go to our next class."
That's when you just leave.
That happened once. Like they did a senior prank where everyone was just going to leave on last period.
Hmm.
The problem was they didn't pay attention to where everyone was when they made this plan. And old me was in the bathroom taking a leak when they made this plan.
All right. Were
So
you just in the classroom by yourself?
I came back to my class and I was just like, and the teacher's like,
Teacher comes in, you guys just look at each other like, just go.
basically,
Just
well,
go.
it was literally like, she's like, "I don't know what to fucking do right now." And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm sitting here like just as confused as she was. Then I found out the next day they all just made a plan to like skip the last period. And the best part was their whole like plan was they were going to use the excuse, "Well, you can't suspend the entire class." Well, unfortunately, the entire class didn't skip.
Yeah.
So womp womp. And I'm just sitting there like, "Guys, I was taking a leak. What do you want me to do?"
Yeah, right.
Should have paid attention.
Yeah.
Oh, school was fun.
Yeah. I didn't skip very much. I did skip, but not like a ton. Like I wasn't like constantly gone. Um, and I don't think I ever got in trouble for it either.
I only skipped one day, and that was senior skip day.
I don't even think I skipped that day. I think the first time I like skipped was it was actually the first of many bomb threats we got at school.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, we got those a lot when I was in high school, and the first time that happened, I actually knew the kid who like was the cause of it. He's a year younger than me, I think, but he was a shithead. But anyways, that happened, and they like literally like shuffled us over to the middle school for like 3 hours, like at the beginning of the day, and then like by the time it was all over, they were like, "All right, it was just Play-Doh and some wires stuck to a locker. It's cool. We can go back to class." I was like, "Fuck that! I'm out of here." It's like I'm not fucking dealing with this shit.
Oh, that was like the fucking we had a snowstorm back when I was in middle school still. And I remember because I think it was middle school. And I always remember this because it was literally it was so bad they had to cancel school, but they weren't going to let people. Basically, you had to get your parents to pick you up to take you home because they couldn't get the buses there.
Yeah.
Um, and my parents worked, and like I was like, my parents aren't going to be here till fucking 7 at night. I ain't fucking stayed at the school, so I just fucking left. Just walked home in the fucking snowstorm. I was like, I don't give a shit. And the reason why
it ain't childhood unless you walk through a blizzard at least once.
the funniest part was though, the whole reason that happened was because they didn't it was one of those classic cases of overreacting to nothing. They had used like all of their snow day, basically, their snow days, pre-planned ones, for false alarms, where it was like, "There's going to be a snowstorm, cancel school." It doesn't snow, like at all. We could have easily gone. And
Oh,
then of course,
you had one of those schools where they canceled it ahead of time. My school, they wouldn't cancel it unless there was already a foot of snow on the ground.
oh no, freaking the school I went to for middle school, not high school, because I went to a Voc school for high school. That school fucking a whiff of it's gonna snow, they panic and cancel. I'm like, okay.
Jeez. He must have had a
Yeah,
different superintendent. Our superintendent was from Maine. He was like, "Nope, not happening, bud."
well, at my Voc school, basically the way that they told us was because it was multiple towns at one school. They basically said we needed to have a majority of towns cancel, which never happened. The only town that ever canceled was my hometown. So it was basically like, well, you guys are fucked.
Yeah, figures.
The best was like when at one point I was getting when I was on my work co-op and I was going to work rather than school, they actually canceled school all around, but like because the power was out, no one saw the TV listings that said school was canceled. So I'm driving to work in like this snowstorm and there's just kids waiting for the bus. I'm like, school was canceled, right? And they're like, what? I've been out here for hours. I'm like, go home. You're good.
Hmm.
Uh,
Jesus.
God, school is so stupid when I think about it sometimes.
Yeah, but as much as like a lot of the school shit, fucking, I was over and still am, but god damn if I don't fucking miss it sometimes.
See, I'm like the opposite. Like I've always looked back, and I think the more I look back at school, the more I realize how much I hated it.
I don't know. I just like the freedom to be a shithead.
See, I didn't have that freedom. I was the fucking emo edge lord who kept to himself.
I didn't get into a ton of trouble. I got into some trouble, but I didn't get into a ton of trouble or anything. But like, God, like just the old days of just fucking riding around, going from town to town on your bike, or fucking, going a few towns over, like, going on a different bus to go home and just go over a friend's house and fuck off in the woods or whatever. It just fucking just the freedom of childhood. I miss it.
Yeah, I guess. See, I don't talk to most of my friends from that era anymore, so
Me
it's like
neither.
it's kind of just an era that I forgot about. Like when I went to my high school reunion, like I was like surprised how many people remembered me. I was like,
I mean,
wow.
I remember the kids I was friends with. Everyone else though, like there's like a couple of people that only remember because I went to like I had classes with them, like going all the way back to like kindergarten. Um, and God knows what happened to them. I haven't fucking seen them since high school. But like I don't know, like the people that made an impression on me, for better or worse. I remember that.
Yeah. God, we could honestly probably do an entire podcast talking about school memories.
Yeah, no
My
shit.
God. We probably should transition into our topic though. We don't have a segment this week because we're going to take a break from that for a few weeks before we
Yeah.
get into our next one. But even though this is going to be the first week of November, sorry, we planned bad. We're doing our final episode of Spooky Month. We're going to be doing one final film, and this is Matt's second choice. So, Matt, take it from here.
So we are discussing 2019's Doctor Sleep, the long-awaited sequel to The Shining, and it's a big shoes to fill. And I don't know about you, Bill, but I feel like it fit them splendidly.
Yeah, no, it was a good movie overall.
It's
It
It was written and directed by Mike Flanagan, who is currently, at least, my favorite director. I've watched pretty much everything he has made up to now, and he has not missed, not once, in my opinion, at least.
it's kind of crazy because one of my favorite directors, I don't know if I'd say my favorite because that's hard to say, but one of my favorites is Stanley Kubrick, who did the original Shining. So
Mhm. So, oh God, it's a good thing we don't have a segment, even though we ended up pretty much covering the same amount of time anyway, which is bullshit. But it's a good thing we didn't have a segment because there's a lot. There's a long movie, and this is the theatrical version. There is a director's cut that adds another half hour of footage.
oh boy.
I haven't seen it yet. I've been meaning to pick it up. I just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah. So the movie starts out. We get like some little snippets of some scenes from the Overlook, but they're all reshoots. Like they're all new footage with different actors. And I feel like they did a pretty good job picking stand-ins for the original actors. The only one in particular that like what was kind of a little bit weird for me was I don't know the actress's name, but the person they got for Wendy, Shelley Duvall's stand-in. Because like I mean, she had like, the dark black hair, and she kept trying to do like the voice, you know what I mean? Like the Shelley Duvall, like
Yep.
Wendy voice.
Her name is Alex Esso. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but
yeah. And Mike Flanagan, who as I mentioned is the writer director of this movie, he has an interesting quirk where he likes to kind of pull from the same pool of actors for just about everything he does.
the Tim Burton effect, yes.
Not always exclusively. This is one of the movies where he does pull a lot of new people. And I believe his most recent film, he also does a lot of that as well. But there are a few of his regulars in this film, and the actress who what was the name again?
Alex Esso.
Yeah. She is one of the ones he has used multiple times.
There is some pretty big names in this movie, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, right off the bat, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was really surprised when I found out that he was playing adult Danny Torrance.
He does a good. I mean, he's a great actor. I will say though, a lot of the times when I see him, I'm always like, Obi-Wan, or the guy from Big Fish. How you doing?
It was even worse too. Like the first few scenes we get of him as an adult, because he has the big Obi-Wan beard, like literally like the same beard from the prequels.
He goes from episode 3 Obi-Wan to episode 1 Obi-Wan over the course of the movie.
Yeah, but simultaneously, like he looks more like episode 1, but he's also like
old,
significantly older.
Yeah,
it's like 20 years later. Like literally, actually, yeah, because Phantom Menace came out in '99, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally 20 years.
But it was probably filmed in '98, around there. So
yeah, well, this is probably filmed in 2018. So
fair enough.
But So yeah, we get a couple of like little flashback scenes of just like him going through the Overlook. We get this little scene of him going into room 237. Um, and then it kind of like jumps to them after the Overlook, where he and his mother are living in Florida. Um, and he like goes into the bathroom, and the tub lady is there.
Yeah.
So seems like the ghosts from the Overlook have followed them and are trying to find him. And he ends up kind of having like a little meeting with the ghost of Dick Halloran, who pretty much like goes on this huge thing about how stuff like this happens with The Shining. Sometimes it's rare, but it happens. And
I thought the guy that played him, Carl Lumbly, did a really good job.
Yes. So a brief sidebar. I actually, in preparation for this, and partially for preparation for this, and also partially just because it's a classic and he needed to see it. Xander and I had a movie night last night. We watched the original Shining. Yes. And maybe that's part of the reason why I noticed a lot of the. I was a little bit more focused on the differences between the replacement actors for the original actors, is because I literally watched it last night. But God, this guy he did a great job. Almost to the point where it was hard for me to tell the difference the first time I watched it. But he kind of goes on this whole thing about how his grandmother had taught him how to deal with things like that. Essentially, like he hands him a lockbox and he says, learn this lockbox in and out and create one in your mind. And then the next time the ghosts show themselves, lock them in the lockbox. And that's essentially what ends up happening. So for the first, like, say, what would you say, like third of the movie, give or take, we're getting like, once we get to like, more present time, it's not exactly present, but roughly.
It's present enough that we have Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. But we're kind of following three separate groups of characters.
Yes.
Because we're getting the Danny Torrance part of it, where you're kind of like, keeping up with him and seeing where he ended up. We're getting Abra Stone, who is kind of like the new Danny Torrance, so to speak. And then we're also following the True Knot, the villains of this story.
Only like 3 of them really matter.
Yeah. I think more of them mattered in the book, but
Yes.
This movie was long enough.
Only like 3 of them are named in this movie, and they don't do much other than just exist.
Yeah. So we do get a scene when we were first introduced to Rebecca Ferguson's character, Rose the Hat, who's the leader of the True Knot. And they're in like it looks like a campground area. Like it's like a little woody area next to a lake. And they encounter a little girl named Violet. And she's like, oh, you have a nice hat or whatever. And Rose is like, oh yeah, it's because I'm a magician, and she's like, oh, pull something out of my hat, whatever. And then like the little girl looks up and there's like some random dude standing in the woods. And then like she's like, oh, don't worry about him, he's my friend. And like they talk for another minute. Then she looks up again and there's like 5 more people in the woods spread out. She's like, oh fuck, like this is not gonna end well. And we do find out what happens to this little girl in excruciating detail.
They ate her.
Yeah. Symbolically, kind of. It's so basically the True Knot are vampires, but they're like psychic vampires. They specifically feed off kids with the Shining. And what they do to get more of it and make it better is they torture them to death. And we get a pretty gruesome scene later on.
Yeah, we don't really see what happens to Violet. We just kind of get the implication that it's not good.
Well, we see pretty much their routine when it comes to dealing with this when when they get at the baseball boys, he's named.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough. And you know what's funny too is so Mike Flanagan actually showed the original cut of the movie to Stephen King before it was released. And apparently that whole scene with the baseball boy was longer in the original cut.
Ah.
And Stephen King turned to him at one point and said, "A little much, don't you think?" So they ended up cutting it down a little bit.
Stephen King said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it was a little much. And you know what's really funny too is apparently when they were filming that scene, because first of all, the kid's a fantastic fucking actor. Like he really sold it.
Yeah.
But apparently as soon as they hit cut for that scene, apparently he just popped up covered in fake blood, just fucking like fucking wandered straight over to like the food table and just started mowing. Like he started stuffing his face right after that whole scene. It was like, Jesus Christ. At least he has a good attitude about it.
Yeah. Was there a King cameo in this, or is he not doing those anymore?
Not in this one. But this actually, I think he still does them occasionally. Not as consistently as he did before.
Because he was like the original Stan Lee cameo guy.
Yeah, because he was in he did a cameo in It Chapter 2, which actually, funny enough, I saw It Chapter 2 in theaters, and the trailer for this movie came on at the theater.
Oh. That's funny.
Yeah. So, oh, fuck, where was I? So yeah, we get that whole scene. We get a scene at like Abra's like 4th birthday party or something, and another one of those like kind of like symbolic, mirror things. There's a magician there, and he's pulling stuff out of a hat, being all silly, whatever, and fucking.
I love the magician's acting, because the whole time she's like being that annoying little shit in the audience, being like, "I can do that," and he's like, "Yeah, that's nice, kid."
Yeah, because he had like stuck like a spoon to his nose. He did the whole like spoons hanging from my nose thing that lots of people can do. And she's like, "Oh, I can do that." And he's like, "Yeah, that's nice, sweetie." And then her parents walk into their kitchen, and like all their silverware is on the ground, all the forks, all the knives, no spoons. The mom's looking up. Every spoon in the house is hanging from the ceiling.
The whole time I saw that, I was thinking like, this is just high school class where they stole the fucking utensils from the cafeteria and were throwing them in the ceiling.
Yeah. And then fucking they turn around, little 4-year-old Abra is just standing there and goes, "Abracadabra." It's like, God.
I thought initially I was like, is she gonna be like a villain in this movie? And I'm like, oh no, okay. I just overthought that.
No, but she's got a little bit of darkness in her, as we learn.
Clearly.
Yeah. But then we finally jump back to Danny, and he's not doing too good.
No.
He's a full-blown alcoholic, just like his father at this point. And he's kind of just wandering from place to place, just getting fucked up, getting into fights, fucking just basically just being a little shit.
Yeah, he like brutally murders that guy in the bar.
Well, he didn't murder him. He fucked him up.
There was a lot of matter coming out of his head.
Look, head injuries bleed a lot.
I don't know.
They never say 100% if he died, but I don't think he's dead. He's fine.
The most is the lady he picks up goes, "I think you killed that guy," and I'm just like, maybe.
And she was like, "I hope you killed him," and then she starts like fucking him right there. It's, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that scene where he like wakes up and I'm immediately like, there's just full on bare ass naked woman on the bed. I'm like, oh wow. At first I was like, well, he takes the covers, leaves her on the cold. I was like, oh, she's like in her vomit. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
now.
She like puked all over the bed and shit. And he, as soon as he sees it, he runs straight to the bathroom and starts vomiting. And she's like, yeah, that's about right.
And then steals her money, and then a child appears, and I'm just like, I like his thought process. There is child with mother, naked on bed, covered in her own vomit. Yeah, this is fine. He's got chips. He's okay.
He's got his chips. He's got his Cheez-Its. He's good.
I was just like, that whole scene. I was like, what the? I'm like, God, alcoholic brain right there. Like, oh my.
Yeah. It's fucking tray of Coke on the table and shit. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the book, this is a scene that stays fixated in his mind consistently throughout. Because in the book, actually, like the kid sees the Coke on the table and like reaches to it and being like, "Oh, candy," and like you know, he takes the Coke and like puts it up high away from him, and then he puts the kid in with his mom, but like he like fixates on that, and that's like a big like. It was like a big turning point for him. It was like realized he hit rock bottom. It was like he needed to change his life, you know. But he leaves that and he ends up boarding a bus and he ends up in a little town named Fraser in New Hampshire. And he goes up to like the town square and it's like this little like miniature version of the town square there with like a mini train that you know kids can ride and shit.
Because kids love trains.
Kids do love trains. It's true. And my kid loves trains. She doesn't even fucking know what a train is. She thinks that's cool.
They love trains and like garbage trucks. For some reason, kids are obsessed with garbage trucks. And it's some of the funniest stuff you'll ever see.
Yeah, dump trucks, fucking excavators. You know, all that fun shit. Fire trucks, whatever.
Yeah.
And he ends up meeting a guy named Billy, who was actually you know, driving the train. You know, he's the guy pilot, you know, running it, I guess.
He's another fairly well-known actress, Cliff Curtis, or actor. Sorry, actor.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like one of the best characters in this movie.
I saw him and I was immediately like, I know that guy. I've seen him in a lot of movies.
It was an interesting case though because they de-aged him significantly in this movie. It's actually not the first one not the only one they do in this movie actually because we didn't mention Snakebite Andy, who was introduced early on. Because Crow basically brings Rose to a movie theater where she's sitting a few rows down, and apparently she does like this thing because she has the shine, right? And she has like a sleeper talent where she can put like suggestions in people's minds
And make them do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we tragically find out later.
Yeah, and she has like this little scam, I guess you could call it, where she like catfishes older dudes into thinking that she's gonna bang them, but then she brings them to the movie theater and makes them go to sleep, and then she steals all their money and carves snake bites into their cheeks. Yeah. The book goes a little bit more into why she does this, but yeah, it's just kind of like a thing she does.
She was played by Emily Alm Lind. I think that's her name.
Yeah, I think this is the only thing I've seen her in.
Oh god, she was born after 9/11. God, we're old.
Thanks. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on from that.
She was like, she had to have been only like.
Well, the character was 15, so she had to be young.
Well, she's 20. She's 23 now, so she had to have been at least.
So
17, maybe.
This came out 2019. She's 23 now, so yeah, 17. She would have been 17 at this point.
Damn.
She looked younger to me.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at a picture of her now, and she looks older now. So.
But yeah, long story short, they end up turning her, and she becomes a part of the True Knot. Which that was a pretty fucking crazy scene too, because they had to give her steam. Actually, they gave her steam from the little girl from the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
I don't know if you caught that, but yeah, and apparently it hurts a lot to get turned.
Yeah,
and she didn't reap the benefits for very long either.
No, no, because of those goddamn pesky.
It's just meddling adults and their hunting rifles.
And their child friend.
But so yeah, Danny ends up settling in Fraser. Billy gets him a job at the little teeny town thing that he was working at, and he gets an apartment for $85 a week. Yep. I need to find this apartment. I mean, goddamn. Like you can't fucking imagine fucking finding an apartment for $85 a week in in New England in fucking in the 2010s. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I don't know. And this is one of those things with Mike Flanagan. It's like one of my few criticisms of him because he actually was grew up in Salem. It's very clear that he moved out of state and has been living out of state a long time. Because I watched The Haunting of Hill House, which is like his first like big breakout thing that made him well known. Mm-hmm. And in that movie, at one point, the characters go into a gas station because they're like they got to ask the guy a question about something. And behind the guy, where all the cigarettes are, and keep in mind, this movie or this TV series came out in, I think, 2016, 2017, and takes place at the same time. Marlboros were under $6 a pack in that series. And as somebody who was smoking Marlboros at the time, I can tell you they were not $6 a pack. They were much more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a non-smoker, so I wouldn't know, but all I know is people I knew who smoked bitching about how expensive cigarettes were. So
I'm pretty sure they were hitting about at least $10 at that point. So yeah, it was very apparent that he has not lived in Massachusetts for a long time.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, he ends up living there, and at one point he wakes up, and the ghost of the girl he banged at the beginning or earlier in the movie, is just there, and she's like, all fucked up and like bloated, like she's a corpse, like she's been rotting for a little bit, and she's like, "Yeah, I died. They haven't found our bodies yet." And like the little fucking corpse of the kid is there too, and he's like, "Fuck."
Like, yeah, that was a little. I saw that. I was like, "Oh, okay."
And he's like, "Yeah, I need to do something because my life, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore." And he goes.
I love how they framed that shot though, and you can see the bottle hanging out of his bag. I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Mike Flanagan does a lot with those kinds of shots. Like he's really good at kind of like focusing on the things he wants you to pay attention to, but also not making it like super obvious. Actually, we watched Cindy and I watched another one of his movies a couple weeks ago called Hush. That was a really good one. You should definitely watch it if you get the chance. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so he ends up going down to his buddy Billy's apartment, who got him the job.
Who's like the best friend in this fucking movie you could ever have, by the way.
For real. But he's like, "Dude, I'm fucked up. I need help. Like, I need help. Like, I need to get sober. I need to fucking do something about my life because I can't keep going like this." And he ends up bringing him to AA, where is his name Bruce Campbell? Is that his name?
The doctor. You mean who played him?
Yeah.
Bruce Greenwood.
Bruce Greenwood. That's what it was. I don't know why Bruce Campbell came to mind.
Fun fact: was Batman in Under the Red Hood.
No shit.
Yep.
Okay.
One of the best Batman voice actors after Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, and he's another one of the actors that Mike Flanagan loves to pull. He's only pulled him 3 times, I think, up to this point, but he has been in a few things. He had a major role in the Fall of the House of Usher and Gerald's Game, which is a Netflix movie, which is also a adaptation of a Stephen King book.
I think he was also Batman in the Young Justice cartoon the entire way through.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, one of the better Batman voices by far.
I can see that. I definitely think he has that in him. But he's a fantastic actor.
Oh yeah, no, he was great in his few scenes he has in this movie.
Yeah, that character had a lot bigger role in the book. I kind of wish he was given more to do in this movie.
Yeah, because he only really appears in his initial appearance, and then like all the later AA scenes, he's not there.
Yeah. But it's okay because he made up for it in Gerald's Game because the character he played in that dies almost immediately in the book. But he's pretty much consistent throughout the movie. So he made up for it. And he was like pretty much like one of the leading roles in Fall of the House of Usher. So
gotcha.
He made up for it. I wonder if he's going to be in the Carrie remake that Mike Flanagan's doing.
Maybe.
This will be like the fourth fucking time that someone has done Carrie. But Mike Flanagan, he has an interesting way of adapting things, and I'm really interested to see what he does with it. And I can see they're definitely going to do something interesting with it. Actually, Matthew Lillard is going to be in it.
He's stepping up in the world, going from Five Nights at Freddy's to that.
Yeah. He had a small role in Mike Flanagan's most recent movie, The Life of Chuck, which is fantastic. We will definitely be covering that on the show at some point in the future.
Is it bad that when I still think of Matthew Lillard, I still think of him as fucking Shaggy in the live action Scooby Doo?
No, it's not weird at all because I'm right with you there. It's between that and Scream. It's just him just going, I'm feeling woozy here.
Yeah, well, Scream's another one that's funny to me, just because when I think of Scream, I'm always, you're talking about the original Scream, right?
Yeah.
I see him, and then I see Monica Geller from Friends.
Yeah, right.
Courtney Cox is in all of them.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, so he ends up going to AA, and he, he meets Bruce Greenwood, and like you see at one point, like Bruce Greenwood like touches his arm, and you're like, at first you wouldn't really think much about it, but then like when Danny goes to shake his hand, he's like, "Oh, you lost your watch. This is where you left it." And
it's a random way to start a conversation.
yeah, well, it's one of those things when you live with that power your whole life. It's just kind of like, yeah. And the watch was very important to him, so it was one of those things. If it was just like a whatever watch, he probably wouldn't mention it. But
yeah.
But eventually, after that, he ends up giving him a job at a hospice that is nearby, where he ends up earning his moniker of Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, the one time they like say it really in the movie, and then it gets completely forgotten. Is it more significant in the book?
I mean, we do see him like do it a decent amount in the movie, but they go into a lot more detail about how it works in the book.
Yeah, because I thought that was going to be a bigger plot point, but like they only show that a few times in the movie before they move on to the next major plot thing.
Yeah. So essentially, for anyone who hasn't seen it, if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go watch it and then come back. Anyways, so he's working as an orderly at this hospice, and a cat ends up going into one of the patients' rooms, and he goes in like, "Oh, leave him alone. He's trying to sleep, whatever." And the old dude is just like, "Oh, so the cat's here. It means I'm about to go." Because apparently in this hospice, this particular cat has a reputation where if he goes into your room and lays at the foot of your bed, you're about to die. Like literally within minutes, you're gonna die. And Danny ends up like sitting down next to him, and they don't convey it as thoroughly as they do in the book, but essentially he uses his shining to kind of help people find peace with death. And actually it's interesting too, because in this scene where this guy dies, as he's dying, you see the steam come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting too, because they kind of lead you to believe that that's kind of like a shining thing, but apparently anybody who dies, that's like you could say like the spirit or the energy within the body leaving them, something like that.
They kind of said like earlier on that it's like everyone's got a little shine to them, but some people more than others.
Yeah, that's fair. So from this point, by this point, I think we mentioned, but his little apartment that he has, whoever the previous tenant was decided to make an entire wall of blackboard. And Abra has been using her shining to like write little messages on his blackboard, because apparently it's one of those things where like it's kind of like a GPS. People with the shining kind of ping off each other. So like she kind of sensed him, because I don't think we mentioned it, but she is like a lot, like more than Danny had in The Shining, like when he was a kid. Like she is like the white whale of steamheads.
Yeah.
So she's like writing chalk messages on his blackboard wall, just being like, hi, how's it going? It's kind of like a weird psychic pen pal situation they got going on for a while. So they kind of have like that connection at the beginning, and it goes on for like years past that point. And then we get a jump 8 years in the future. So we're in the present. We're in 2019, the year the movie came out. And he gets his 8-year chip from AA, and it's like a big moment. He's kind of has like this little speech as he accepts it about how he, his Jack died when he was 5 years old, and the only way he really had to get to know him as an adult was by drinking. And then he kind of goes into it a little bit more about how now that he's been sober, he understands him even more because his dad was trying to get sober for his sake and for his mom's sake and all that. This is around the point where the whole baseball boy situation happens, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. God, that's a rough scene. It's yeah. So basically, and Abra senses this whole thing. So basically, we get a scene in Iowa where there's this probably like 8 or 9-year-old kid playing baseball, and like at one point, like you go to the stands, and like there's this one dude in the stands who's like, "Oh, this kid, he's going places. He's super talented. He always it seems to always hit the good runs and everything." And funny enough, the guy who says that in the stands is actually the original kid who played Danny in The Shining.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a fun cameo.
Another fun little Easter egg they throw in is that his number, like the kid's number, is number 19. You probably wouldn't know this, Bill, because you're not super familiar with Stephen King books.
Yeah.
Or The Dark Tower specifically, rather. But the number 19 is very significant in Dark Tower lore. It becomes very important. And after the Dark Tower book, where it was made as significant as it is, he pretty much uses it in almost every single book since then. So that was kind of like a big, like, oh, cool. But then, so I think, was it Crow in the stands? I think it was Crow in the stands, who was just kind of like, scoping the place out.
It was either Crow or the like weird, like the bigger dude with the beard, who's like, he isn't named, but he's like one of the only other significant members of the group.
He is actually named, but only once or twice. Abra calls him Barry the Chunk. Because all the people in the True Knot have like weird little monikers. But they don't say what his actual name is. Because of course they don't. Because we'll just say his actual True Knot name is Barry, the derogatory term for an Asian. And Abra just got it wrong. Abra just got it wrong, and he got lost in translation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why they didn't include it in the movie.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yikes.
But yeah, so they end up pulling up to him because apparently he's just walking home from this baseball game just along a cornfield. I'll have to ask Aaron if there's really that many cornfields in Iowa.
Yeah.
But he's just walking home down the side of the road in a cornfield, and this fucking van pulls up, and Barry the Chunk is like, "Hey man, number 19, looking good out there. You want a ride? We'll give you a ride home." And he's like, "No, I'm good. It's fine. Don't worry."
I would have just jumped into the cornfield and been gone at that point.
Yeah, this is like high level stranger danger shit here. But then like the back door of the van opens up, and Snakebite Andy, who still very, very much looks 15, is like, "We're friends. You want to come with us?" And he's like, "You're friends. We want to come with you." Because she's got the whole suggestion thing. which is why they wanted her in the first place. You know, makes catching kids a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then we get one of, if not the worst scene to sit through in the movie, which even
Yeah.
Stephen King apparently got a little skeeved by.
Every one of these movies that we've watched so far has like that one scene that's like, what the fuck? Like, because in like Perfect Blue, it's the fucking ending. Cube, it was probably, how was it, the freaking face melt scene, I guess. And then The Fly
Either
was,
that or the scene where he stabs the chick through the chest with the fucking handle.
yeah,
That comes out of nowhere.
that's true. And then The Fly was the fucking giving birth to the maggot. But,
Yeah. Yikes.
it's weird how the transformation was less shocking than the fucking that.
Yeah, no shit. So basically they drive him out to this abandoned factory, and they tie him down with like stakes, like in the dirt, like almost as if they're gonna quarter him. And then they all kind of just like crouch around him, and Rose just starts stabbing him, and they're all just fucking sucking up the steam. It's a rough scene. It goes on for like a good couple minutes.
And then we get those shifts between that and then Abra starts like seeing it.
Yeah, because she's getting like full on vision of it as it like in real time. And in this scene, we actually we see that she's a Ruby fan.
Yeah, there was so much weep shit in that room. I was like ah.
But actually, earlier in the movie, it was at one point where she was. I don't know if it was like she was one of the scenes where she was like psychically writing messages on a chalkboard or something. But like she was laying in bed and she like goes to sit up and it focuses on a figure she has next to her bed and it's of Emerald from Ruby. You only got into season 3, so you only got a little bit of her, but she was the green-haired one who was on Cinder's team. Who her thing was illusions, which makes sense that she would identify with that character in particular because Shining and she has a lot of illusion shit throughout this movie. So
see, my
a lot of
question
symbolic
is,
shit.
did Rooster Teeth pay to have all that promotion there, or is Mike Flanagan secretly a Ruby fan?
Well, I feel like it might have been Mike Flanagan, honestly. I don't know 100%. I've never heard of him speak about it before. It's possible.
It's just so weird how it's like bam, like super prominent.
Yeah, because they do because Mike Flanagan's very particular about how he frames a lot of shit, as we mentioned earlier, with like the bottle of booze that we saw earlier and things of that nature. He's very particular about how he shoots certain scenes. And they put the focus on that anime figure of Emerald for a minute there. And then like we had a couple like in this scene here where she's freaking out in the bed because she's seen the vision of the baseball boy. We see at least 2 Ruby posters in her room. And this isn't the only time we see them either. So like they put the focus on it a few times. So he has to have watched it. I have to imagine.
Maybe. It was just such a weird thing. Like it's like that and then like fucking Budweiser like being everywhere in this movie.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, I'm having trouble remembering exactly what happens here.
Well, because this is where she blows
up.
She blows up.
Oh yeah, because she like the wall kind of like shatters, kind of, but like he's like looking up from his bed, but he's looking at the opposite wall where there's a mirror. And in the mirror, it says red rum.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and the chalkboard says murders. Ooh.
And I love his response is just to write, ooh.
And then she writes baseball boy. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, now I've got to explain this in the morning.
Right. And I think this is about the time where she tracks him down, right?
Yeah, well, not yet, because first, don't we have? Doesn't like the first like time where Rose tries to get in her head happen first?
I don't think it was. I don't think she was specifically trying to get into her head. I think it was like while they were killing the baseball boy, she sensed her looking, And then like after the whole thing is said and done, like she goes up to Crow and she's like, someone was looking, big steamhead. He was like, oh, where? And she's like, East Coast. And it's like, seriously? Like 1,500 miles away? Like she's got to be like serious level. And
I forget. Did
like
the
earlier,
grocery store scene happen first before?
that happens after, I
Okay.
believe. Yeah, because it was because this was the first time she became aware of them, and then after, when she finds like the missing children poster of the kid, she like uses that to kind of make a connection to Rose. But yeah, because we had a scene I think earlier where like she was talking to Crow about and on the roof of her camper, because they all drive around in campers, by the way. I don't think we mentioned that. But she's sitting on top of her camper meditating, and like Crow comes up and they're having this whole conversation about
the bougiest camper you'll ever see, by the way.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, they're super rich, so they can afford that shit. They get a skimp on that when they're pretty much nomads. But they're having this whole conversation about like, he's like, I know why you're up here all the time. Like you're always looking for more people. Like we need to take more steam. And he's like, I know you're looking for a white whale, essentially. Like, she's like, have an Ahab. And well, guess what? Abra is that white whale. They finally, pinged her, so to speak. And then I think that point, Abra, yeah, she finds the missing children's poster, and she like kind of psychically links with Rose, who's just shopping at a grocery store.
Gotta get her Bud Light.
She got to get her Bud Light and her toilet paper and other such necessities. I feel like every time we focus on the True Knot, they're always just like barbecuing on the beach or whatever. Yeah, it's always like the most mundane shit.
They make it look like it's great. Like I'm like, okay, these guys are living. Like, what's so bad about?
Like the whole scene when Grandpa Flick is dying, and she's like, "You saw kingdoms rise and fall. You feasted on princes. Blah blah. Like you were the terror that they made myths out of. All this other shit." And it's just like, and you spend your days barbecuing. Like, it's like the most mundane. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna live forever. We're gonna have these great lives, but they're just going to the grocery store and cooking burgers. Like, they're not doing anything special.
Yeah, I love that scene though, because she's like looking in like the milk cabinet, like the milk fridge, and she's like, "Oh, I see you." And then
like she tries to get into the kid's head. And the kid's like, nope. And she just forces her out so fucking hard that the glass shatters and she goes flying to the other side of the fucking grocery store.
Yeah. It's like, damn.
And like Rose's nose is bleeding. Fucking Dan felt it too. He actually passed out from it.
Oh yeah,
and, his nose is bleeding.
And it just knocked him down.
Yeah. And then I think this is the point where Abra's like, I need help. So she ends up seeking out Dan. Pretty much uses the Shining as like a GPS and just kind of follows the signal. And kind of just like bumps into him running the teeny town train.
Yeah.
And we kind of end up getting like a mirror scene to the first one of the early scenes of the movie where Danny was sitting on the bench with the ghost of Dick, and so they end up going and sitting on a bench. And they're having this whole conversation about The Shining and these people who went after the baseball boy, and she's like, I know that if I got something that one of them touched, I'd be able to find them. And Barry the Chunk picked up the baseball boy's glove at one point and was wearing it and just taunting him and shit. So if we could get that glove, I know I'd be able to find them. And he's like, yeah, fuck that kid. Like, I'm done. Like, I ain't doing that shit. Pretty much just, it's the refuse of the call to action,
Yeah.
Or call to adventure, whatever it is. And she's all sad about it. But then eventually, Rose ends up trying to like find her again. And we get this really cool scene where she like astro projects and she's just kind of like flying over like the landscape.
Oh yeah, this scene, yeah, because the way it ends is glorious.
And here is like we get one of Mike Flanagan's biggest like things that he loves to do in his stuff. He loves the 90-degree camera tilt, and he does it multiple times throughout the scene. And she ends up finding Abra. She goes to her room, like connecting with like her mind, and she sees all these filing cabinets, which I guess are like her memories, her thoughts, and such. And she's like, "Oh, cool, and now I can find out everything I need to know about you. I'll figure out where you are, like everything, everything we need to find you and get you." She opens up one of the filing cabinets and goes to stick her hand in, and the thing slams shut on her hand.
Yeah, I think it was the fear filing cabinet because they feed off the fear.
Yeah. And she turns around and like this like apparition of Abra standing
Yeah,
there,
with like anime
"Gotcha, bitch."
hair. She had anime hair. It's like
I think that was another Ruby reference.
I
I
think
think it was
so.
supposed to be like Emerald's hair.
Because when I saw it, I was like, that looks terrible. And I'm like, oh wait, no, I know what they're going for here. Never mind, it's fine.
Which is really funny too, because in the book, she like takes the form of some chick from Game of Thrones.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Because all 12-year-olds watch Game of Thrones.
That must be why I'm not interested.
I hope not. I hope not. Because I haven't watched it myself, but from what I hear, it ain't for 12-year-olds.
Well, neither was Akira, and I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, she's like, fucking with her like hardcore, like, "I got you, bitch. You're mine now." And Abra starts rifling through her file cabinets.
Yeah, because she makes that whole thing. She's like, your little headspace. Mine's a fucking cathedral. And then we see it. It's like, yep, she wasn't lying.
Yep, it certainly is a cathedral, but it doesn't really do her a whole lot of good because Abra ends up rifling through all of her thoughts and memories until eventually Rose is just like, "All right, fuck this." She goes to pull her hand out, and we get another one of those little quirks of Mike Flanagan. Because he loves hand mutilation for some reason. He does it a lot in a lot of his movies and TV shows. He does a lot of hand mutilation. And she basically degloves her hand.
She like partially does, yeah. And it's like you look at it and just go, ew.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if any listeners know what degloving is.
Yeah, don't look that up if you don't want to. But you can
use your imagination. Use your imagination. Yeah, sidebar. The first time I heard about degloving was when I was taking automotive in high school, because one of our teachers was explaining why we don't wear rings in automotive.
Yeah, and in the machine shop.
Yeah. So yeah, at that point, like Rose is like, "All right, I'm out." Like, because she's like getting fully bombarded with her like shining power or whatever. And we get another one of those 90-degree like tilt scenes, and she just kind of like slips right out of the room and flies back into her body.
That scene where she's flying through the air, that would have been perfect fodder for like Giles Theme Goes With Anything.
Yeah. Also, we haven't brought this up, but this movie does a thing where like it has its like normal soundtrack and stuff, but throughout the movie we constantly get this like heartbeat in the background. It's just like, and I don't know what it is about it, some like crazy telltale heart shit, but like it really ramps up that anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have sound effects now, by the way. I forgot about that.
Well, you use them on fucking GNC a lot.
Well, the episode
on music.
The episode has not come out yet where I discovered said sound effects, but oh boy, do I have fun with them.
Oh, that'll be fun. But yeah, basically, like she flies back into her body so hard that she literally flies off the roof of her fucking camper, and all of her people like crowding around her, like, "Oh my god, like what happened?" She's like, "Yeah, remember how I told you she was like huge steam? Yeah, it's way bigger than that." Like she forced herself into my mind and like fucked me up. And apparently her hand was like actually affected in the real world because it's like royally fucked up.
Yeah. And then the next time we see it, it's just got a bandage on it. It's fine. I'm just like, okay.
Well, it looks like they kind of like stitched it back on, but then at
Maybe.
one point we see her take steam and it like heals itself.
Oh yeah, magical vampire powers. That makes sense.
Yeah, magic shining steam stuff. And she's like, "This is important" or whatever. And Barry the Chunk comes up and he's like, "Yeah, this is kind of important. Grandpa Flick's dying." Um, which actually I didn't mention this because the actors who play Grandpa Flick and Barry the Chunk are also Mike Flanagan regulars. Especially Barry the Chunk. He's in a lot of things. But we see what happens when one of them dies. And
They turn into smoke.
yeah, they basically dissolve into steam. And it looks very, very painful. Like the whole process. And it's really like fucked up when like they're doing the whole thing. Like Rose is clearly distraught by him going through this. And like it's very upsetting, and she's like doing the whole talking him up, like, "You're not afraid, like everything's okay, like you did all this, you were like this fucking boogeyman throughout the centuries, just ruling everything, just toppling over empires and whatever the fuck else she said." But then the second he devolves into steam, they all just fucking
they just go cannibalize him. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty dark. And at this point, like Abra like psychically contacts Dan, and she's like, "I got that bitch. I got her good. And she's fucking hurting, and she deserves every little bit of it." And he's
Dan's like,
he's just like, "Fuck." It's like, "I told you to stay away from that bitch."
Yep.
I don't remember if this happened before or after, but Danny actually gets a ghostly visit from Dick Halloran. And he's basically like telling him, like you got to help her. Like, you can't just fucking let this go by. You got to do something. And he's like, "Why me?" And Dick's like, "Bitch, why me? I'm still on the hook, and I've been dead for fucking 40 years.
Yeah.
Which fair. And basically, he says, "Ka is a wheel," which is another one of those big Dark Tower phrases. Like, it all comes back around. Like, I was your mentor, now you have to be hers. You have to be her savior, the way I was for you. And so Dan's like, "All right, fuck it, I'm in." And he ends up going back down to Billy. And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna tell you some shit, and you're gonna have to do your damnedest to believe me."
And Billy's like the best friend. Like, he's just
For
goes
real.
along with it.
He takes his word for it. It's like, "All right, I'll drive to Iowa with you and dig up what may or may not be a child's dead body."
Sure. And then they do, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, and he goes on this big, like, long-winded rant about how he used to hunt. And like one day he like shot a deer and the deer escaped him, and they found it 5 days later, and he's like, "This smells just like that smell." Like, then they actually get to where the body is, and they both just start barfing. Like, it's fair.
I mean, how long had it been since the kid was killed? Because he was still in relatively good shape, all things considered.
And he was buried pretty shallow too, so it can't have been long. It was a lot longer in the book. I think it was like 5 years in the book. Here, I think it's assumed that it like just happened.
Yeah, because I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, he's still pretty preserved so far.
Yeah, he still got all his skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get the glove, and they end up like they're on their way back, and Dan's like, because he's been staying psychically connected to Abra this whole time. He's like, "All right, Abra, listen, you got to tell your dad. Fucking show him the visions. Do what you got to do. You got to tell him what's going on, because we're showing up at your house. We got the glove. Like, we can't be having that resistance here." And the second they get there, Dave Stone does pretty much exactly what any father would do in the situation.
Yeah, two strange men show up looking for his young daughter.
Looking for his 13-year-old daughter. Yeah. These two 40-something-year-old dudes show up. Yeah. And he's like, "Abra, I told you to show him." And she's like, "I told him." He's like, "That's not the same. It's not the same at all."
They freaking like traumatize him with the visions right there, and I'm just like, oh, that poor man, he's going
Yeah.
through it, and the next scene he's fucking drinking. I'm
Yeah,
like,
he's like
ooh.
shaking like a leaf. He's fucking pouring himself a glass of whiskey. He's just like, and he turns around and he like offers them some, and they're like, "Yeah, no, not for
Uh,
us. 'Cause we're both in AA."
yeah.
But basically, they hatch this whole plan where like they're gonna essentially like use Abra as bait to lure the True Knot, who are already on their way to go get her. Um, they're gonna kind of use her as bait psychically because they kind of use her stuffed animal as like a thing to focus on essentially, and she projects an image of herself onto it.
Hmm.
And when they all show up to take her, they're like, "Oh, that was easy." Whatever. They inject her with like the sedative, and then they look back and it's just a fucking stuffed rabbit. And they're like, "What the fuck?"
Parlor tricks.
And then it's fucking open season because Dan and Billy are both in the woods, just shooting off rounds with the hunting rifles,
and
and
they're
fucking
and they
take like all of them out.
and they suffer from stormtrooper syndrome because my god, they all have fucking guns and they don't even get a single shot.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Dan and Billy are both using hunting rifles, and they all have pistols, and there's a good amount of distance between them.
True,
So,
but they were just firing like all over that spot. You think there would have been like at least one, but
well, I think Dan and Billy did a good job of planning it out right. I think that was more them being smart until they weren't.
yeah. Well,
Because by the end, oh, go on.
Well, I was gonna say like they fucking like all the insignificant like. Well, ironically, I think Barry dies like first because fuck that guy.
Yeah,
But then like all the insignificant ones, they all get like taken out. Like all the background people, they were like out one by one. Um,
hmm.
Except for Snakebite Andy, who's the obvious, of course, the final one to survive.
Hmm. And she like retreats into the camper, and she goes to come out, and Dan's got the rifle on her. They're in close range now. He's got a rifle on her. She's like, "You want to go to sleep, don't you?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to go to sleep." And she's like, "You want to sleep?" And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to sleep." And then fucking Abra like psychically yells at him, and that wakes him up. But she's already got the rifle like up to his face, like she's about to shoot him in the face. And then fucking Billy comes in clutch, comes around the corner, and fucking blasts her in the neck, blasts her in the chest. And
Yeah,
as she's dying, as she's cycling out, as they call it, she tells him to kill himself.
yeah. I was so upset when that happened. I was like, no, why'd they kill the good
Yeah,
character?
yeah. He shoots himself in the head. It was very sad.
Why did they shoot her the second they saw her? I was so annoyed by that for like a few minutes. Like he had a perfect open shot.
Well, I mean, they don't want to kill people, but they are monsters, so
Yeah,
they
I don't.
should have.
I think they kind of lost any excuse by that point.
I think Dan was taking it back because of how young she was.
Maybe.
Um, which at this point, even if she didn't become a member of the True Knot, she'd still only be like 25.
True.
Actually, not even. She'd be like 23. So either way, she'd still be young, but she's like literally like in the form of a child. So I can see why he'd be a little hesitant.
True.
But then like Dan hears Abra in his mind, like, "Where's the crow? Where's the crow?" And in that very moment, he's in her house and he fucking hits her with a sedative. And she's out cold. And as
Why
he's
did the
fucking,
dad open the door? Why did the dad open the door?
did he though? We don't
I mean,
know.
he was downstairs right by it, so that's my only thought.
Yeah, but he was also drinking.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but he ain't drinking no more because as they're walking out the door, we see in the background his body is just on the ground with a fucking knife in his chest.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's why I feel like he opened the door. He must have heard a knock. I'm like, you never do that. Like not when you know there's people after you.
Yeah. So at this point, like Dan like books it back to Abra's house because he obviously knows something's up. And he sees the dad's dead body, like she's gone, and he's like freaking out. He grabs the bottle of booze, goes back to his apartment, and he's like really struggling with it for a minute there. And he ends up like just kind of really pushing that Shining to the limit, listening for Abra, because like she's trying to call out to him, but the sedative she's under like dulls down the Shining. But he does end up hearing her, and they end up making a connection. And
We get one
he
of the
kind
most
of like,
glorious scenes in the movie.
yeah, he kind of like inhabits her body for a little bit, and it leans up. He's like, "Oh, I feel fucking hungover. I haven't felt like this in years." And Crow's like, "The fuck?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Who are you?" Because he can tell immediately this isn't the kid. And he's like, "Oh, I'm the one who killed all your friends." And obviously he's not very happy about that. But he's not allowed to kill the girl, so he just kind of has to put up with it.
Yeah.
And
and then he makes the
they kinda-
observation where he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys you're not immortal, but you think you'll live forever. Notice how you don't wear your seatbelt because of that."
Yep. And then he shinings the steering wheel to the side, and they fucking hit a tree,
And
and the dude goes flying out the fucking windshield.
it's the most comical scene ever because it literally looks like a dummy just flies out the window.
It probably was a dummy.
Yeah. Although I do call like the girl would have been fucked too, because even with the seatbelts on, you're still gonna get whiplash to fuck doing that.
Oh, for sure. Although, well, no, because they did focus earlier, like right after he took her, we first got the scene in the car. She's like triple strapped.
Yeah, you'd still get whiplash though. Like it's
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't be as bad as if it was just like a regular seatbelt. Like she's like fucking like like think back to like Return to Oz when she was fucking like strapped down to that stretcher. It's like kind of like strapped down like that.
yeah. She didn't have a Hans device though, so her neck probably still would have snapped, but
Oh, for sure. She's young though, young kids are resilient. They can handle that shit.
maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
It ain't fun, but they have a better chance of fucking making it through than fucking Crow Daddy over there.
No, he went through the window and just died. like yeah, he's done.
Yeah. But then Abra's like walking down the street. She sees the fucking vision of Rose, fucking livid because she was sensing all of her people dying as it was happening.
I do love that scene though when the crow's dying, where she's just like, "Hope it hurts." Like I hope you die.
Yeah. And it surely does. It surely does. But yeah, she ends up walking down to just like a random ass motel, and just kind of like hiding behind like the ice machine or whatever until Dan finally shows up, picks her up. And they're like, "Yeah, she's not going to stop coming for you. So we got to settle this." So the moment we've been waiting for this whole fucking movie finally comes.
The nostalgia bomb, as they call it.
They go to Colorado. And we get almost a scene for scene, with the only exception being it's snowing in this scene. Like a scene for scene kind of remake of the opening scene of The Shining, where they're driving up the side of the mountain, seeing the big lake down there and everything. And they pull up to the Overlook Hotel. And he's like, "Stay in the car. Let me know when she comes. You'll see her coming a good few minutes before she actually gets here because there's literally nobody here. You'll see the headlights." And she's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, I'm going into the hotel. I don't want you being in there any longer than you have to, so you're not coming in until she gets here." He's like, "I have to go wake it up."
Yeah.
And he goes in. First thing he does is he goes down to the fucking boiler room. He turns on all the fucking fuse boxes, turns on the boiler. Fucking shocking that any of that shit still works after 40 years.
Yeah, they make a whole claim about how it was left to rot. I'm like, it's in pretty good shape for being left to rot all this time.
It's the mountains of Colorado. It stays pretty cold, preserve shit, whatever.
Yeah, it's also a creature of chaos, so.
And also, you got to figure this stuff was built back when shit was built to last.
True.
This isn't the 2010s when things are built to specifically break within 3 years, so you have to replace it.
Yeah. Although the fact that it's still connected to the grid is the funniest part about that whole thing.
Yeah, but it probably like old school hardwiring. Like it'd probably be a process you disconnected. So yeah, he's going through and he's just kind of like he's going through his little nostalgia
Yeah.
point. You know, he's just like, oh, this is the hallway where I encountered those little girls, and
That's where
this is
Dad chopped the door down.
yeah. He's just like, and he sticks his head through the fucking door. This the whole "Here's Johnny" scene kind of thing. We get like a couple little snippets of like flashbacks to that stuff, but they're like reshot scenes with the new actors, and they actually did a really good job with it. Like,
Yeah, I actually thought they just took the scene initially, and I was like, oh, that was different. But
yeah, they kind of going through the whole bit there, and eventually Rose ends up showing up. Or actually, no, before that, the big scene.
oh yeah, the bar.
He goes to the bar where Jack's glass is still there from when he was drinking back in The Shining, and we hear a voice. And we see some hands pour some Jack Daniels into the cup. He goes, "You take me as I take you as a whiskey man." He puts a drink in front of him, and it's the ghost of Jack Torrance. And they basically having this whole back and forth where, like, the ghost is pretty much like taking the role of Lloyd, who is the bartender in The Shining, and he's refusing to admit that he is Jack. And Dan keeps going on about how, oh, we moved to Florida after everything happened, and mom died of cancer when I was 20, and this and that. And like they're kind of just, he's getting more and more angry at his father because he's just refusing to acknowledge who he is. And Jack keeps trying to push the alcohol on him, which I feel like is really symbolic with the whole thing because Jack's obviously because they don't really get into it too much, but a big reason why Danny drank in the first place was because it dulls The Shining.
Yeah.
And because he has so much of it, like it's hard to live with. So, but another big part of it was Ted drawing out the memories of his father. And that's one thing that the Shining movie doesn't do very well is they don't really showcase how close Dan and Jack were. Like they were like two peas in a pod. Like they fucking loved each other to the end of the moon. And seeing somebody you love that much turn like that and go crazy and try to kill you, like that's at 5 years old, that's gonna do some shit to you. Shit, that would do something to me at 30.
Yeah.
But basically he just kind of refuses, and we end up getting to the point where Abra calls out and she's here. So he goes down and meets her in front of the hotel and says, okay, we're gonna go in, we're gonna wait for her. And then Dan sees the axe, the fire axe on the wall. Like, okay, I see what we're doing here. So now Danny's standing there at the top of the stairs. I don't think it's the exact same axe. I don't think anybody would have put the time to fucking put it back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, who put it back? Like,
I'm pretty sure it's just a different axe. But he's standing there with one of the same axes that his dad used back in The Shining. But like the roles are reversed. Like he's at the top of the stairs and Rose is at the bottom. And we get this scene where she like tries to go into Abra's mind again. But it's the hedge maze, which we saw earlier in the movie. This is Dan's mind, but she doesn't know that. And like she's chasing Abra around, and like Abra keeps doing this thing where she's like running by her and cutting her with like a knife. Actually, I think now that I'm looking back at it, I think it might have been the same like kind of knife that Rose used on the baseball boy. They do a lot of that kind of thing throughout this movie.
Symbolic.
Yes, symbology. Um, anyways, eventually they get to
Symbology. Symbology.
I-
That's
I've
a
seen
word.
Boondock Saints.
Like the word. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, that's the word. I'm like, wait a minute. Symbolism.
Yeah.
Symbology.
Symbolism. What is the symbolism?
I'm
Anyways.
gonna use symbology next time I'm in public and see if anyone questions me.
See who gets the reference and who just thinks you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Yes. But anyways, like we get the whole like showdown scene, and Rose is like got her by the neck and she's lifting her up, and like she's like, wait a minute, this isn't your mind. And then she like kind of forces her way back out, and they're still in the lobby. And Dan's like, all right, scram, kid.
That image of the freaking like lock box just getting closer and closer to is very haunting.
Yeah. I almost kind of wish, because there's a scene like right before they do that whole mind bit. She's like fucking with the typewriter, which is still there. Which, come to think of it, like I find it kind of odd that like, yeah, obviously they shut it down, they condemned it, they left it to rot, whatever. You'd think they would have cleared out all the stuff in it. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Like they left all the tables, the chairs, the bedding.
Or you'd think it would have been looted or something by now.
Yeah, you would think, right? But no, apparently not.
It's so remote that no one
typewriter.
can be fucking bothered.
A typewriter's probably worth money too. That's vintage.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they did a scene there where she would just like read off the all work no play bit. That would have been kind of cool. Maybe they did that in the extended version.
Maybe. What's funny though is like they comment how decrepit the place is, but then like some of those rooms, I'm like, some of those rooms look lightly dusty at most.
Well, I mean, they haven't been used for 40 years. They've just been sitting there. But yeah, there'd be some wood rot, but aside from that, I mean.
Well, it's just funny because they went another way to make certain rooms look like it's truly decrepit, and then other rooms is like, nah, they're fine.
But I will say they did a very, very good job. I mean, obviously they couldn't do it like exactly. They did a really good job of recreating the Overlook. But yeah, so we get like this scene, and I don't know about you, but every time I see Ewan McGregor at the top of that stairs with Rose at the bottom, all I could think is, I got
you were the chosen. You were the chosen one.
That's all I can think every time I see him at the top of those stairs. Like, it's over. I have the high ground.
I'm just waiting for like fucking Hayden Christensen to be sitting at the bottom and be like, I hate you.
But basically they have this whole little exchange where she's like, how the fuck did we miss you? Like, because you're in your 40s and you're still overflowing with steam. Like, you were a fucking serious shine. Like, how the fuck did we miss you all those years? And she basically like kind of like waves like, hey, wanna be my second? Like, I got no people now. Like, there's some spots open. And he's like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah, she was like coming on to him like at points. And I'm just
like, she was DTF. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like she was ready to fucking just throw us out. Like, yeah, you killed all my friends, all my family, but fuck it.
Yeah.
But and he's like, yeah, fuck you. And she's like, all right, well, if we're gonna do this, let's do it. And he like goes to swing the axe, and she fucking just catches it and just forces it back and rips it out of his hand. And she stabs like the pointy end into his leg.
Yeah.
And like,
right
I don't
in
know
the
about you,
femoral artery.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't know, something about the way that camera was angled. It
Oh,
almost looks like she hit somewhere else.
I thought she got him in the dick. I thought she did it, on all honesty.
But yeah, she fucking hits him.
South Park moment, like, you shot him in the dick, Butters.
Yeah, she hits him in the femoral artery in the leg. And she like literally just fucking tosses him down the stairs. Like, he's also like, fucking fucked up.
And she's all like, oh, that's your femoral artery. You're gonna bleed out. I'm like, it's not really bleeding that much until she starts poking it.
Yeah, until she starts shoving her finger into his fucking leg hole.
Yeah. I was just like, because that whole time I'm like sitting, I'm like, yeah, if that was actually the femoral, it'd be like fucking pooling around him at this point.
Yeah, he certainly wouldn't. Well, I mean, he was possessed, but we'll get there. So yeah, like he's at the fucking bottom of the stairs now, and she like fucking lands on top of him. She's like sticking her finger into his leg hole, and he's got steam coming out, and she's sucking it up, and she's like, "Oh, you taste like whiskey."
Yeah, that scene was disturbing for
Yeah,
reasons. I'm just like, this is weird.
it was weirdly sexual.
Yeah, I'm like, I clicked on the wrong porn parody today. Like,
Yeah, right. But then she's like, "Oh, you got something else in there. Like you're hiding something from me." He's like, "What do you got? Something special? Something secret?" And he's like, "Oh, it's not special. It's starving." And he opens all the lock boxes, and all the Overlook ghosts are just there surrounding her. And we
yeah,
get
that
this
becomes
really like gruesome scene where like they're like swarming her, but they're like, you remember that one scene in Deadpool Wolverine where what's her face is just like kind of shoving her hand into people. It's kind of
yeah,
like that, but it's like under the skin. They're like fusing into her. It's like super spooky.
yeah. They basically just
And
they all. It's like a zombie movie where they just all like all the zombies crowd the one person and eat them, and it's just like,
yep,
oh, like yeah, that was dark.
yeah. And then she cycles out and dies, and they suck up all the steam. And then they all just stop and slowly turn to look at Danny. He's like, "Fuck, mistakes were made."
And
and
surprise, possession.
And then we get the classic "Come play with us, Danny," and
Yeah,
and they all like kind of like group possess him, like as a collective. And then obviously he's going after Abra because she's an even bigger steamhead than he is, and obviously the Overlook likes that shit. And he's fucking chasing after her, and she like kind of comes through to him a little bit, and he breaks out of it for a minute, and he's like, "You need to get the fuck out." Um, and at first she's resistant, but then she's just like, "All right, I'll go." And at that point, the fucking Overlook ghosts that are possessing him realize that he turned the boiler on. And this
yeah,
is one thing that the original Kubrick movie didn't really call too much focus on, but the boiler had to be dumped like every 12 hours. It has to be like released at pressure because even at the time, it was old and really
yeah,
janky. And if you don't dump the boiler regularly, like 2 or 3 times a day, it will explode.
yeah,
And that's exactly what happens. The ghosts take his body down there, and they go to like release the valve, but he fights them just enough to keep them from doing it. And everything starts catching fire. He's just sitting there in the boiler room with the flames all around him, and he sees like the ghostly vision of his mother. And they have like a nice moment where like it zooms in on her, then it zooms back out, and he's a little kid again. And then we go back to Abra, and she's just watching the place burn to the ground. And it's a really good thing that the firefighters and whoever else showed up as fast as they did, because it was snowing on this mountain, miles and miles from civilization. And earlier in the movie, she tossed her phone out the window, so she would have been pretty fucked
yeah.
otherwise.
I didn't even think of that because I forgot about that scene with like she calls her mom who's like fucking traumatized. She's like, "Hi, love you," out the window.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, like literally, like her mom like gets home, finds her dead husband on the ground. Her daughter's nowhere to be seen. She calls her daughter. She's like, "Oh, thank God, Abra, it's you." And all Abra says is, "I love you," and she tosses her phone out the window
phone out the window.
as
You'll
they're on
call
their
her.
way to the Overlook.
She also like says to like Did she's like, "You'll call her and let her know I'm okay after this is over." Right? And he's like, "Yeah, I'm totally not gonna
Sure.
die in this one way trip."
Yeah. Um, and then we get a quick scene change, and Abra's back in her room, and she's talking to Dan, and she's like, "I knew you'd make it," and everything else, blah blah blah. And he tells her, "I told you to, keep your shining under wraps, keep it on the down low, try to suppress it, but I was wrong. Shine on, Abra." Then her mom comes in, and Dan's gone. It's like, oh yeah, that was a ghost. And she like goes to go have dinner with her mom, As she's walking out, she turns to the bathroom, and bathtub lady is there, and she goes in to deal with it, and movie ends.
Yeah, it's kind of like an interesting like parallel with the scene with Danny at the start, where it's like
Yeah,
it's like okay now it's like now she's got to go lock them all up.
and that last ending scene, they're playing the song, like the really old school song that was playing in The Shining when Jack was at the bar, like with the big party going on.
I saw that too because I also realized like the it's kind of like an interesting parallel where now like he's gonna be her Dick Halloran, basically.
Yeah, that's a cause a wheel. It all comes back around.
Hmm.
But
And
yeah,
then
that's Doctor Sleep.
good movie. It's long. Didn't even realize how long it was till we got over. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's a good. The theatrical cut is a good 2.5 hours. I believe the extended edition is 3 hours. And it's a long movie, but it's definitely worth the watch. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. This is one of those few instances where the sequel is just as good as the original, if not better.
Yeah. Honestly, you could probably watch it standalone and not even question a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. That was a fun 4 movies though, I'd say.
Yes. I'm happy with how this spooky season turned out. I'm looking forward to making this an annual thing.
Yeah. No, we had a big mix of films too, which was like we had psychological, we had straight up horror, we had body horror. What would you call the cube? That's like
I'd say that's psychological.
psychological mix. Yeah, a little bit
Psychological mystery kind of
mystery.
thriller.
Like we had a whole bunch of different like genres of horror this little experiment we did. It was fun.
Mhm. I'm not gonna lie, I was really tempted to make both of my pick Stephen King movies, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to oversaturate. I don't want to just be like the Stephen King guy. So and that's why I ended up choosing Cube. But I had to do. I was really questioning whether I wanted to do The Shining or Doctor Sleep, but I ended up going Doctor Sleep A because you hadn't seen it, and B because um I really wanted to cover Mike Flanagan stuff on this show because
And
he is such a
the Shining's
fantastic
been
director.
the Shining's been done to death at this point. Everyone
Yeah.
knows it.
And we could always do The Shining outside of Halloween because that's just one of those movies. It's a classic.
Hmm.
That's one we could actually probably get a guest on for
Yeah, in all honesty.
because I guarantee you we could pull just about anybody for that one.
Yeah. No, this was fun though. I enjoyed all revisiting my movies and then checking out these other ones. It was a fun little experiment. As horrific as some of it was.
So, do we want to try and rank the movies we did?
We could try. They're honestly, they all kind of are on their own. It's weird because there isn't really a weak one here. They're all very strong.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I'd say cohesively. I'd say the most believable one is probably Doctor Sleep, because Perfect Blue, that one you watch and that takes a few watches to even get.
Yeah, which to be honest with you, I'll want to say I enjoyed the movie. It was a good movie, but again, I'll have to watch it a couple more times before I can really like wrap my head around it. And for that reason, it's at the bottom.
I mean, it's pure.
But that being said, I enjoyed all 4 of these movies immensely. So it's not a slight on the movie by any means. But somewhere has to occupy the bottom, and for me, it's Perfect Blue.
It's interesting because I think out of all of them, the most well put together film was definitely Doctor Sleep. Because Cube was an extremely low budget film, but it was impressive what they did with that low budget.
Yeah.
And then The Fly is a weird one because The Fly is also low budget, and the plot of that movie doesn't really matter. It's more of just the effects and the characters and just like how it flows. Because watching the descent into becoming the Fly is the highlight of that movie, where you just see how fucked he gets as it goes on.
Yeah. For me personally, I think starting at the top, I mean, Doctor Sleep is one of my favorite movies, period. So that was at the top for me. And then I think it probably goes The Fly, Cube, and then Perfect Blue.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. Cube and Perfect Blue are kind of on tied in my case because they're both kind of
Mindfucky.
they're mindfucky and they're kind of movies that you have to watch a few times to really understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, The Fly is a classic. Like it's like probably the all-time body horror classic.
Mm.
And it's a Cronenberg classic. And then yeah, Doctor Sleep is just probably the best movie overall in terms of just production and how it was made.
It's just incredibly well rounded because it has a good solid mix of like it has its horror, it has it's like thrillery, like anxiety moments. It has its good like character building moments. Um yeah, it's kind of like heartwarming slice of life moments. Like it has a good mix. It has everything that you'd want a horror movie to have.
Yeah, and it doesn't rely on cheap bullshit to scare you either. It's actually like a good horror movie because I hate jump scare movies. Like jump scare movies.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single jump scare in this movie.
I don't think there was a jump scare really in any of these movies. Like a cheap one, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely moments where it was like there was shocking things that would happen like all of a sudden. Like for instance, when what's his face stabs the girl with the door handle.
Oh, in the Cube. Yeah, that was the Cube had the closest thing to jump scares, I'd say, but they were well done. They weren't just like the best jump scares are where you don't expect them. Like, because when you're watching a jump scare movie, the whole time you're just like on edge because you're like waiting for them.
Yeah, like anytime you're watching a horror movie and somebody's looking in the mirror, you're expecting a jump scare.
Yeah, what made that one effective was it was a well done jump scare because it fucking comes out of nowhere and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, like there are certain like tells for jump scare, like the cheap jump scares.
And like Perfect Blue had some jumpy moments, but nothing like Perfect Blue. You're more just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on the whole time.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is the point of it. Because like the Fly doesn't really have jump scares. The Fly is more just about the horror of what would happen there.
Hmm.
Like I still think the most horrific scene in The Fly is the maggot and the fucking inside out baboon. Like
Yeah, yeah, the fucking baboon. Where the fuck is he getting these baboons? I can't get past that.
the fact that it was like it wasn't even the first time either.
Yeah, he got multiple baboons for this. Like, start with some feeder mice, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Nah, but I think Doctor Sleep was the best movie out of the bunch.
Yeah.
Then The Fly,
Agreed.
and then The Cube or Perfect Blue. It all depends on how I feel on a given day.
Yeah, that's fair. And again, I think if I watch Perfect Blue a couple more times, it probably. I definitely think it is one of those movies that will go up the more times I watch it.
Yeah, it's one of those. They're both kind of like I prefer that one just probably because I have nostalgia for it, and you prefer The Cube because you have nostalgia for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where they're both kind of on the same level for me.
Fair. That's fair.
But
No,
yeah,
this is a very successful spooky month.
Yeah, we're gonna do something similar for Christmas. I think we already have some plans. This going forward, but yeah, this was fun. Just over 2 hours, probably the longest of all of these.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even have a Dark and the Black segment either. It's just the movie's just got that much going on.
Yeah, I really did. Well, I mean, we did bullshit about school for like a good like hour there too.
Yeah.
But I think next week we agreed we're gonna jump back into Dragon Ball Super.
Yes. Yes.
So that'll be fun. The granola arc, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, looking forward to that because I'm going 100% blind into this. So
Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun round of manga stuff because we're gonna be doing the granola arc. We'll be finishing up Battle City in Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I'm not 100% sure where we're gonna cut it off for Death Note, but I do have an idea for that. So we'll leave that for now.
okay. Sounds good. But yeah, I guess now my brain is mush.
Yeah, well, we've been working on this one for about 5 hours if you include the time we spent watching the movie. So
yeah. But I guess once again, guys, thank you for joining us on Geek Addicts. You can find Geek Addicts on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. And be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site where you can find all sorts of different videos, podcasts, blogs. At this point, Spooktober is probably already over, but hey, thank you for reading all of our blogs if you'd stuck around. And yeah, looking forward to more projects in the future. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us. We will see you all later.
have a good one.